Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we are wrestling with a topic that suffers from a pretty serious image problem.
It really does.
You mentioned autonomous agents and people's brains. They just cut to this montage of Hollywood disasters, red laser eyes, dystopian cities.
As humanity running for the hills. It's a hard reflex to break, isn't it?
It is.
Pop culture has it's really shaped our expectations.
Mhm.
You hear autonomous and your mind just jumps to overlord.
Exactly. I'm picturing a metal skeleton crushing a skull. But we've got a stack of research here today, specifically from a report called Unlocking the Future, that paints a surprisingly grounded picture.
Yeah.
It's less about the apocalypse and more about payroll.
And that's the reality check we have to start with. We need to strip away all the science fiction and, look at the science facts.
Right.
The core idea in the source materials is that this isn't some 10 years from now scenario.
Mm-hmm.
This tech is emerging right now, quietly.
It's background.
In the background of apps and services you use every single day. It's not banging down your door. It's already in the room.
So our mission for this deep dive is to get past the buzzwords. We want to sort of demolish the myths and honestly just figure out if these things are useful or if it's just another tech fad.
Yeah.
And by the end, we want to hand you, the listener, a practical roadmap, not just theory, but how you can actually start using these digital employees to handle all the drudgery we hate.
And that is the key promise here. It's about integration. How do you actually bring these agents into your workflow or your personal life without needing, a supercomputer in your basement?
Or a PhD in robotics, I'm hoping. But before we get to the how, we have to nail down the what. This term, autonomous agent, it gets thrown around so loosely.
It does.
My Roomba feels autonomous when it's navigating the living room, but then it eats a phone charger, and I lose all faith. Are we talking about vacuum cleaners here?
We're going a layer deeper than the vacuum. The source defines them specifically as software systems that can perform tasks without direct human intervention.
Okay, that's the critical distinction.
It is. Most software we use is passive. It just sits there waiting for you to click save or send. An agent doesn't wait. It uses advanced algorithms in machine learning to operate on its own.
So it's not just a script that runs from point A to point B. It has agency.
In a computational sense, yeah. The source breaks it down into this really elegant four-step mechanism that's almost biological. Step one is perceive.
Okay, so sensing the environment.
Right. It's ingesting data. That could be reading an email, checking stock prices, analyzing an image. It's the digital version of seeing and hearing.
Got it.
Step two is process. It analyzes that info against its training. But step three, that's where the magic really happens. Decide.
And that's the pivot point. Because traditional automation doesn't really decide, does it? It just follows a flowchart. If X, then Y.
Precisely. A standard script just breaks. If the situation doesn't fit the flowchart, it throws an error and waits for a human.
Right.
An autonomous agent, though, it looks at the analysis and makes an independent choice on how to move forward to reach its goal. And then finally, step four, act.
Perceive, process, decide, act.
You got it.
That decide phase is what separates a tool from an agent. It means it can adapt. If it hits a roadblock, it looks for a detour instead of just crashing.
That's the ideal function, yes. And the spectrum here is just vast. We are talking about everything from a chatbot that can negotiate a refund for you all the way up to an autonomous car navigating a busy intersection.
It's the same core logic, just scaled up in complexity.
And risk. Massively scaled up in risk.
Okay, let's get concrete. Definitions are great, but I want to see where the rubber hits the road. You said this is happening now, so where are these agents working right now where I might not even realize it?
Well, let's look at finance. This is probably where that decide and act loop is the fastest. The source talks a lot about autonomous trading algorithms.
I've heard of high-frequency trading. That's the stuff that happens in the blink of an eye.
Oh, even faster. These agents analyze market conditions, news feeds, price shifts, and they execute trades in milliseconds.
Milliseconds. That's faster than I can even think about clicking a mouse.
It's a speed that is physiologically impossible for humans. By the time you've read a headline, the agent has already perceived it, processed the risk, decided on a strategy, acted, and maybe even exited the trade.
It's fascinating, but also a little unnerving. A machine economy running on top of the human one. What about something high stakes, but more human-centric, like healthcare?
This is where the idea of the co-pilot really shines in the report. We're
Right.
not talking about a robot surgeon replacing a doctor. We're talking about virtual assistants that help with the data overload.
So supercharging the doctor, not firing them.
Exactly. I mean, think about the cognitive load on a physician.
Yeah.
Symptoms, patient history, drug interactions, new research. An agent can track all that continuously. It perceives a patient's changing vitals, processes that against their medical history, and decides to flag a potential issue that a tired human might miss on a 12-hour shift.
It's interesting because in that case, the act isn't giving the drug. The act is just nudging the human, like, hey, maybe look at this.
Correct. The source is very clear that this is about optimization and safety. It's a second pair of eyes that never sleeps and never blinks.
I like that framing. Okay, what about logistics? The invisible backbone of the world that we only notice when it breaks.
And it's a backbone that's becoming more and more autonomous. You have the flashy examples, sure, the self-driving trucks and drones, but the real agent work is in the routing.
The software telling the truck where to go.
Right, and it's dynamic. An agent optimizes routes in real time. If there's a traffic jam in Atlanta, the agent perceives it, calculates the cost of delay versus a detour, decides on the new route, and updates the driver instantly.
It's juggling thousands of variables a human just couldn't.
Couldn't possibly.
Yeah.
And finally, the one we probably interact with the most and get the most frustrated with,
Customer service.
the chatbots.
Please tell me the source says they're getting better. Because those old, I didn't understand that loops are just painful.
The report is actually pretty optimistic here. We're not talking about those old decision tree scripts anymore. We're talking about agents that can actually understand intent.
So they can handle the basic stuff.
Right. Tracking packages, resetting passwords, managing reservations. It frees up the human agents.
So that's the pitch, right? The bot handles the boring stuff, so the human can handle the angry customer who needs some empathy.
Exactly. If the bot can solve it, it does. If it decides the issue is too complex or emotional, it hands it off to a human. It's a filter, basically. Bots deal with data problems, humans deal with human problems.
Okay, so they're trading stocks, helping doctors, routing trucks. This all sounds incredibly powerful, but it also sounds really expensive.
It sounds like enterprise-level tech for sure.
It sounds like I need a dedicated IT department and a budget the size of a small country. So here's the big question for our listener. Is this stuff actually accessible, or is this just for the Fortune 500?
And this is where the source material gets really empowering. Honestly, this was the most surprising part for me. The answer is a hard no. You do not need a PhD.
Really?
The barrier to entry has just collapsed.
How? Because usually advanced AI means expensive consultants.
Well, the source dedicates a whole section to what it calls the toolkit, and it focuses heavily on these no-code and low-code platforms.
Okay, no code is a great buzzword, but does it actually work? If I want to automate a workflow, what am I actually using?
The source points to three heavy hitters you've probably heard of: Zapier, Integromat, which is now called Make in Microsoft Power Automate.
I've used Zapier for simple things. It feels like digital plumbing, you know, connecting pipe A to pipe B.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
But with the new agent capabilities, you're not just connecting pipes, you're installing valves that think.
Oh, interesting.
You can tell the agent, when this email comes in, check for this condition. If it's high priority, send it to Slack. If it's low priority, just log it in Excel. You're programming logic without writing any code.
And make that's the one that's more visual, right?
Yeah, it has this drag and drop system. It looks like a mind map, but it's actually a functioning program. You can literally see the decision flow on your screen.
Okay, that handles the back-end stuff. What if I want to build one of those chatbots we were just talking about?
You don't need to learn natural language processing anymore. The platforms do the heavy lifting. The source lists tools like Dialogflow, MiniChat, and ChatFuel.
I see ManyChat all over social media. Comment link and I'll send it to you.
That's a very simple version of it. But you can design entire conversation flows. You're basically teaching the agent how to handle inquiries or qualify leads. It's accessible enough that a local bakery could use it.
That's the dream, isn't it? But there's another category here that sounds a bit more industrial. RPA, robotic process automation.
Yeah, RPA is the heavy-duty stuff. Think of it as a digital worker for your desktop.
What's the use case there?
Imagine you have some old legacy system at work, some database from 1998 that doesn't talk to anything else, and you spend hours copying text from a PDF and pasting it into a form.
The soul-crushing work, the stuff that makes you question all your life choices.
Exactly. RPA tools like UiPath or automation, anywhere, can be trained to mimic a human user. They literally take control of the mouse and keyboard, virtually.
So it's a ghost in the machine.
It is. They're digital workers handling that drudgery that needs zero creativity but 100% accuracy.
So, okay, we have the tools, we have the use cases, we can see the potential, but I want to pivot here because there is no such thing as a free lunch, right?
Right.
If we are handing over decision-making power to software, something has to give. It can't all be perfect.
You're right to be skeptical. The source material is very honest about this. It calls it a double-edged sword. When you introduce autonomy, you introduce new kinds of risk.
What's keeping the experts up at night?
Security and privacy are at the very top. I mean, think about it. You're giving software the ability to act on its own. You're giving it access to your most sensitive data.
Right. If I give an agent the keys to my bank account or access to my email, I need to be 100% sure that agent isn't compromised.
Exactly. If a hacker compromises a passive database, they steal data. If they compromise an agent, they can perform actions in your name.
It turns the tool into a weapon.
And that leads right to the next point the source brings up, which is this fascinating gray area, the blame game.
I was just thinking about this with self-driving cars. If an autonomous agent makes a mistake, who's on the hook?
It's a total mess. If that trading bot loses all your money, is it your fault for using it? Is it the developer's fault for writing bad code? Or is it the AI's fault?
We don't really have a legal framework for the AI did it, do we?
Not at all. As these agents get more independent, figuring out liability gets so much harder. It forces us to rethink what responsibility even means.
And speaking of responsibility, we have to address the elephant in the room, jobs.
The later impact. It's a valid fear. If an agent can do all these things faster and better, and it doesn't need coffee breaks, what happens to the human?
Does the report offer any hope there, or is it just good luck, learn to code?
It's nuanced. It talks about displacement, yes. Certain tasks will disappear, data entry, routine monitoring. Those are going away.
Okay.
But the source balances that with this concept of reskilling.
Moving up the value chain.
The argument is that we should see it as shifting humans to where we're actually needed. The robot does the copy-pasting. The human does the creative strategy. The robot analyzes the data. The doctor communicates the care plan with empathy.
So the idea is we shed the robotic tasks that humans aren't really built for anyway.
Right. It's about leveraging the tech to become more human, focusing on strategy, empathy, and complex problem solving.
Which sounds great in theory, but it requires actual effort on the ground.
Which brings us to the action plan.
Yes, let's get practical. If a listener is on board, they see the value, they accept the risks, how do they start? What's step one?
Step one is identify needs. And the advice here is clear. Do not start with the tool. Don't just go download Zapier because it sounds cool.
Right. Don't go looking for a nail just because you bought a hammer.
Exactly. Audit your day. Look at your business. Where are the bottlenecks? What tasks are repetitive and boring and make you groan when you see them on your to-do list?
So find the pain first.
Now find the pain. Then step two, choose the right tool. Match the tool to that specific need you just identified.
Okay. And step three?
Experiment and learn. This is crucial. Start small. Don't try to automate your entire payroll on day one. Pick one specific tiny process. Build an agent. See what happens.
Fail fast.
And expect it to fail at first. You have to tweak it. Which leads to step four, which is maybe the most important for avoiding the Terminator scenarios. Monitor and optimize.
Don't just set it and forget it.
Never. You have to supervise its performance. Is it doing what you thought it would? Is it getting stuck? You have to adjust and refine it over time. You are the manager. The agent is your new intern.
That's a great way to put it. You can't just leave the intern alone on day one. And finally,
stay updated. This technology is moving so fast. The tools we mentioned today might have brand new features next week. You have to keep your eyes open.
It really is a constant learning process, but the payoff, according to the source, makes it worth it.
The payoff is huge. Increased efficiency, reduced costs, and honestly a better quality of life. Reclaiming your time from the drudgery.
So if we zoom out, what does this all mean for the listener driving to work right now?
It means we're entering an era of collaboration. The source concludes with this idea of harmony, a future where tech and humanity coexist. It's not about the machine taking over. It's about the machine taking on the burden.
It's easy to be cynical, but there's a real optimistic path here if we're proactive.
Exactly. It requires an informed approach. We have to navigate the technical and social challenges, but the potential is there to make work less like work.
Before we go, I want to leave you with a thought to chew on. We've talked a lot about digital employees and robotic tasks, but I want you to turn that mirror around.
This is a provocative question the source leaves us with.
Based on everything we've talked about, ask yourself this. In your own daily workflow right now, which task makes you feel like a robot?
And the data entry, the
Yeah.
scheduling, the reporting.
And what would happen if you finally let a real robot take that over? What would you do with that freedom? Who would you be at work if you weren't a data entry clerk for half the day?
That's the challenge. Don't just listen to this deep dive. Go find that task. See if there's a tool on that list that can handle it.
Stay curious.
And stay open to change. The future is here, and it is autonomous. Thanks for listening.